Mastercard used its dominance to dictate online platform rules, then launched its own digital ID system to capitalize on it. Payment processors are positioning themselves as the decider of who gets to stay online. Now, some people might say that, oh, as bad as MasterCard is, they're like pretty reasonable, all things considered. They don't usually deplatform somebody. They've openly resisted cancel culture before. It's a bait and switch. Once they get full control of the internet, you know damn well they're going to be power tripping all over your ass. Back in April, MasterCard, one of the world's biggest credit card companies, imposed a new policy on who can use its services, specifically around quote unquote illegal adult content. Yeah, so this right here is why there is actually a movement among like hentai creators to get these payment processors to understand the difference between drawings and reality. Because one of the reasons that getting labeled adult content is a death sentence is because all the negatives that usually come with physical, real life adult content are now applied to you, like risks of human trafficking or cheese pizza and things like that, which really shouldn't apply to drawings. So there's actually some progress being made in that arena. There are payment processors out there that they will actually, if you're a hentai creator, they will serve you. You got to be big enough for them to be worth their while. That's one of the catches. Like any random creator on Twitter with like 5 followers won't be able to pull that off. And they understand that you're not nearly as big of a risk as someone that did 3D porn, because there's no risk of human trafficking, no risk of cheese pizza, no risk of prostitution. All that baggage that comes with real life 3D porn doesn't apply to drawings. And some payment processors, funny enough, none of the adult ones, are learning that. So you get way better rates because you're less risky. Good shit if you know what you're doing. Sites that host such content as defined by MasterCard, which critics say conflates illegal with all adult content. To be fair, this is all the government's fault. Just like with banking and payment processing in general, the government holds these businesses accountable for what their customers do. The government, in America in particular, but really all governments in the West, they have a habit of passing their fascist policies onto private companies. So at least I could respect China in that when the Chinese government censors something, they just flat out come out and do it. It's like, yeah, by the way, we're censoring this now. What are you going to do about it? Oh, right, nothing. You can't say shit to us. The US government, on the other hand, like, oh, we want to censor adult content, but we don't want to risk, losing our jobs when the voters get to choose next election. So we're just gonna implement all these draconian policies on payment processors that'll hold them accountable for what their customers do. So they're just gonna refuse to work with adult content creators. That's how the US government operates. But anyway, sites that host such content are required to provide proof of identity and age of those appearing in streams and videos, and have an appeals process that would let any person appearing in videos request to have them removed. Now, this actually, I think, is the worst out of all of them. Mandatory identification, that's par for the course in the adult industry anyway. This is just someone else that has to have it. But this last one, any person appearing in the videos can request to have them removed. I talked about this before, but we need to get into the details again. So just imagine this. You got a porn star, signs a contract and everything to do a porno, does the porno, everything's fine and dandy, and then 2 years later, she retires from porn and is embarrassed by her past, and then petitions to have all of that removed. It's like, but wait, but I own the video. You were literally just work for hire for my video. How the hell can you? Nope, sorry, new rule. You have to remove it. I appeared in that video and I'm petitioning to have it removed. It doesn't even matter what the contract says. This new rule overrides all of that shit. Alongside these rules, which are said to be something sites such as OnlyFans should already have implemented, one of the new rules requiring content review process prior to publication was singled out by advocates as difficult to implement and also a way for the card company to shift the responsibility onto others. And I can see where the frustration is, but again, I don't actually blame Mastercard for this one. It's because the US government in particular, and pretty much every other Western government, but the US one is the most powerful, they are the ones that are forcing Mastercard to do this. I'm not lying when I say that, a few activists aside, every single payment processor would want nothing more than to just impartially be a middleman and provide payment processing services. And then the government comes in and says, "Oh, if you provide services to human trafficking, we're gonna hold you accountable for that." It's like, but how the fuck are we supposed to know what our customers do? Like, well, figure it out. That's your problem now. Mastercard's market position allowed it to push these new rules for platforms, regardless of the fact that they were likely to ban users or block illegal content. Again, if you want someone to blame, you have to go all the way to the top. Blame the US government. At the time, some referred to Mastercard as joining the anti-porn crusade with little consideration of how it might affect those operating legally, including in other areas, topics, and markets, and the company now seems to be capitalizing on this by building its ID tools. Yeah, it is a bit shady, but I can't blame them for trying to make the best out of the real bad situation that the government put them in. In partnership with Digital Transformation Agency, the company is working to integrate its digital identity service at a scale across the country with the end goal of allowing people to verify their identity and age digitally. Now, here's the real worrying thing. It's only a matter of time until this system is required to even access the internet. Online RealID is coming. Appearing to speak on behalf of Strians, Mastercard Stria President Dick Wormald said that they are increasingly expecting no disruptions between their online and physical lives, and identity is an area that must keep pace with those expectations. The trials that will, if successful, result in Mastercard getting accredited under Stria's trusted digital identity framework have been happening since last year and are now being quietly expanded. Of course it's Australia that's the testing ground. Of course they'd use the prison colony for that. If successful, Mastercard would be able to issue digital ID using passports, driver's licenses, as well as protect digital identity data using encryption and facial biometrics, reports said. Yeah, just like that credit agency was protecting everyone's data. That, by the way, we didn't consent to having that data given to them. They have it whether we like it or not, and we just have to deal with the consequences of when they get hacked. And I just want to point out that this is yet another example of the government proving me right once again. Remember when China was talking about things like this and everyone in the West was clutching their pearls? Like, oh my God, look at those authoritarians in China. Oh, they're just squashing freedom. They're destroying the internet. They're going to split the internet in two. And then when their own government does it, well, I mean, it's to protect the children. Of course, it's the right thing. You're not against it, are you? Are you saying you support pedophiles? Are you a pedo enabler? Currently, only government entities can issue these documents that MasterCard would use to create its own digital versions. The private sector is left out, and so in June, the Australian government started work to push through legislation that would, by the end of the year, include it and other non-government entities. But just pay attention, especially to the social credit system. The West talks mad shit about China's social credit system while they're implementing their own. And the same people that talk shit about China's system are going to just bend over backwards, making up excuses for why America's doing it differently and why it's the right thing to do. Just you wait. The brave new world is coming whether we like it or not. Oh man, I am so excited to tell you guys right now that finally, after about a year of build-up and shilling, we have launched Blade Devil on Indiegogo, and so far it is doing so well thanks to awesome people like you. If you haven't backed it yet, then please check the links in the description and check out Blade Devil on Indiegogo. You will not be disappointed. Looking forward to seeing you there.